Hello. So we just wait 1 minute, then we will start to the class. Okay, so just first of all share the screen and then we will continue. Okay, so if we wait 1 minute, we will start today chemical energy storage. One of the method of the energy storage system. So today we are going to discuss chemical energy storage system. Okay, so under this content we are going to discuss electrochemical, thermochemical, and photochemical, or we can energy storage system of the electrochemical energy storage system, thermochemical energy storage system, and last one is our photochemical energy storage system. So today we will see one by one of the electrochemical, thermochemical, and photochemical energy storage system. Okay. What is the energy stored in the chemical bond? It is released by the chemical reaction. Okay. Chemical, that means energy stored in the chemical bond and will be released when the chemical reaction takes place. Hello. प्रीति आवाज आ रही है? हेलो. ओके, आवाज आ रही है ना क्लियर? Hello, Preeti, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So today we are going to discuss chemical energy storage system. Okay. So out of these, today we are going to discuss some part of the chemical, that means electrochemical energy storage system, thermochemical energy storage system, and photochemical energy storage system. Okay. So as you seen from the name, that means chemical reaction. Okay, chemical energy storage system. That means the energy stored in the chemical when the bond take place. Okay, so energy stored in the bond by it's release the chemical energy when the chemical reaction take place. Okay, what is the chemical energy storage? So chemical energy is stored in the bond of many compounds that connect atom with other atom, one atom to other atom, and molecules, one molecule with the other molecules. So we can say that the chemical energy is stored in a bond of various type of atoms or molecule are connected with each other. Okay. The chemical energy is stored, it is a form of potential energy when the chemical reaction take place. That means the energy is released during that period. Okay. When the chemical reaction take place, so energy released. Just allow him because and then we will continue. Okay. So just wait here. Minutes. Okay, so chemical energy is stored in the bond of many compounds that connect one atoms with another atoms and molecule with one molecule to other molecules. So the chemical energy stored in a form of potential energy. Okay, that means potential energy, and when a chemical reaction take place, so the chemical energy is released. Okay, that energy you may be used as the various application. That means either maybe light or maybe as the purpose of other applications such like as a heat. Okay, so can you give any example of the chemical energy storage system? Okay. Can you give any example used for the that potential energy for the light and heat purpose? So can give me any example of the chemical energy storage system? नहीं बोल रहे हो कोई एग्जाम्पल केमिकल एनर्जी का हेलो what is the example for the chemical energy storage system energy? कोल हम लोग यूज करते हैं हेलो what is the example for the chemical energy storage system? कोयला हम लोग यूज करते हैं ना कोयला जब हम लोग बर्न करते हैं उसको हम लोग किस रूप में हीट यूज करते हैं उससे तो उसमें भी केमिकल रिएक्शन होता है हेलो
Yes, sir.
so we can consider that as a coal or maybe if, find the application of battery you may be used as the light purpose in torch or something like that. That battery one time usable, that is known as the chemical energy storage. Okay, so cell battery, that means you can use for the light purpose or some other application also. So that are known as the chemical reaction, chemical energy storage. Okay. So the release chemical energy is produced either in the light or in the heat form. So light and heat in exothermic or endothermic process. What is the exothermic and endothermic process? We just try to see here. That means during the production of the light and heat, generally take place the exothermic and endothermic process. So this may be used here. Find out that means this is your chemical energy, just like this one. You may be find other like that means uh, candle. Okay, if you light the candle, that will produce light or heat energy. Okay, so that candle is also known as one of the energy store in the form of chemical energy. Okay, so
So exothermic or endothermic process means,
uh, sorry, क्या बोली?
so exothermic and endothermic process.
Yeah, just I am going to explain that one, exothermic and endothermic process under this chemical reaction. Just see their example with first one, that means the chemical energy store, how we can produce, that means one you maybe consider as the battery, and then we discuss the biomass. Directly, if you burn that biomass, and petroleum we use for uh, fuel purpose, and natural gas and coal. Okay, and hydrogen, all are the reversible chemical reactions. So these are the example for the chemical reaction energy storage system. Okay, so in the
Okay.
next just we try to see there exothermic and endothermic process, how we can take place. Okay, so just electrochemical energy storage. So what is the electrochemical energy storage? That means the electrochemical energy storage system, when it is in charging mode, the electrical energy is converted to the chemical energy. Okay, first we consider. So the electrochemical energy, when it is charged mode, then during that period, the electrical energy converted into chemical energy. And what will be happen during the discharge period? That means chemical reaction, whatever the chemical energy stored, that will be released during the discharging period, is it not, in the electrical form. So this is the reversible process. Electrical to chemical or chemical to electrical. So the most using electrochemical energy storage device is battery. Because I have said some few minutes earlier, that means battery, you will find out their application in your home also. Maybe use as the purpose of light or some other application. Okay, so this battery are convert electrical energy into the chemical energy. Okay, battery are convert the electrical energy into the chemical energy, and vice versa, chemical energy to electrical energy. All battery have two terminals. That means one is your positive terminal. That is you may find out that means cathode, and one is your negative terminal. That means anode, and third one is your electrolyte. That means separated of the cathode and anode terminal. Okay, so here the positive charge, you may find the movement of flow of electron and the flow of current. Okay, so current flow from this terminal to this terminal. So the flow of electron opposite to the flow of current. Okay, that means from anode to cathode, but current flow from cathode to anode this positive terminal. So this bulb your glow. So on the battery have you may find these two terminals. One is your positive and another is your negative. Okay, so that you can connect to your load through this battery whenever you required. I suppose that glow this bulb and other application purpose. Okay. And next, this is even as the same things while the charging and discharging connection of the battery. That means while charge a battery, electrical energy convert to chemical energy and store during the charging period. Okay. So whatever the energy stored during the charging, you will able to use whenever required. So when charging a battery, you will find out that means the cathode terminus of this one. This one is known as, and during the charging, that means this is the flow of electron that means in this direction. So go to this and again separated by the electrolyte. Okay, anode and cathode. So while discharging mode, the whatever the chemical energy convert into the electrical energy that will be used. Okay, so these battery are work on the direct and need the AC and DC converter for charging purpose. It's the classification of the battery. That means so one is known as the primary battery, another is known as the secondary battery. Okay, so what is the primary battery? That means one time usable. Okay, and one time usable. So that is known as the primary battery. In this, the chemical reaction are not reversible. That means one time use, then battery will be vanish. Okay. So this is known as the non-reversible. So these are also called as the non-rechargeable. You cannot recharge this type of battery. Okay. So these are single usage battery. These are known as the primary battery. So example of these primary battery are dry cell and flashlight, etc. You may find out to various application of the primary battery. Those are not rechargeable. Okay, and which are secondary battery. That means same things. Which battery we are able to rechargeable and use for a long time. That is obviously known as the known as the secondary battery. Okay. So you will find out the secondary battery application. That means a lead acid battery or nickel cadmium battery. So in this, the chemical reaction are reversible. So these are also called the rechargeable. One your battery is used for a long time. Okay, if one time you have to recharge, so you can energy stored in the battery again and again, and you can use. Okay, so those battery which are rechargeable and used for the long time, that is known as secondary battery, and those battery who are not rechargeable. Okay, that means non-reversible battery. So those are known as the primary battery. Okay. So this is all about the primary and secondary battery. And next, we just thermochemical energy storage. Okay. So what is the thermochemical energy storage? The thermochemical energy storage system are based on the performing a reversible chemical reaction. Okay. So higher conversion efficiency might be possible if the heat produced by primary fuel could be used directly decompose water without any intermediate electrical energy. Okay. So this is thermochemical energy storage system. Next, just we try to see here the so thermal energy storage system are based on the performing a reversible chemical reaction. So higher the efficiency might be possible if the heat produced by primary fuel uh, could be used directly decomposed water without any intermediate electrical. So the direct decomposition into hydrogen and oxygen is possible. It requires a high temperature of at least 2500 degrees Celsius. So how we can make the chemical reaction? That means so because of the temperature limitation, direct single step water decomposition cannot be achieved. Okay. So what is the chemical reaction of water?
Hydrogen plus oxygen.
Hydrogen plus oxygen. Okay. So that will be combined molecule. So hydrogen and oxygen, if we combine, then it will make as the water H2O.
H2O.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
This is sound आ रहा है mute नहीं किया क्या? Okay. So, however, a sequential chemical reaction can be used to decompose water. Okay. The operation called the thermocycle. The cycle consists of two processes. Okay. Again, here we just prepare you ask in the process of endothermic and exothermic. Okay. So, in one time, so when the endothermic process or two cycle complete during the uh, thermochemical okay, endothermic process and exothermic process. Okay, that means we just try to see here. However, a sequential decomposition chemical reaction can be used for decompose the water. Okay, so endothermic that means in which the reaction which allow absorption of heat into decomposition process. Okay, that is endothermic. So absorption of heat, if we take place, that means supposing one particles that you have absorbed the heat and break into two and more particles. Okay, so that is known as the endothermic process. When the heat absorb. Okay, so particle C or any particle you maybe consider that means if you after the consumption of heat, absorption of heat will be break into two or more particles, decompose or break into or more particles. That is known as the endothermic process. Okay, and endothermic reaction which absorb heat delta H represented by delta H has a positive value by convention. Okay, जो पार्टिकल हीट को एब्जॉर्ब करे उसको हम लोग जस्ट कंसीडर करें पॉजिटिव कन्वेंशन. ओके, सो endothermic, this is endothermic process. So and what is the next? Exothermic process. That means when the heat release, okay, if two and more particles energy is released for the formation of compound. That means if A and B combine together and make the one particles, and during this process, if energy released, that is heat release, heat energy, okay, so this process is known as the exothermic process. Okay, so during this process you maybe write here exothermic and endothermic for the water decomposition, that means H2O if you break into oxygen and water, okay, and make if hydrogen plus oxygen,
Hydrogen and oxygen.
yeah, so this one is known as, just mute yourself, Priti, so voice is coming from your side. So this is the exothermic and endothermic process, okay. सबसे छोटा एग्जांपल यही वाटर वाला ही हम लोग कंसीडर कर रहे हैं, ठीक है, एक्सोथर्मिक एंड एंडोथर्मिक के लिए इसका केमिकल H2 plus O, if you combine and make the H2O, that means water, so this is your exothermic process, नहीं, if you consider hydrogen plus oxygen and if you heat release, then it makes the H2O. So in place of this A and B, you may be consider here hydrogen and oxygen. Okay. So here that means the representation of A, B, C is a general, and this is the water composition and decomposition of water. That means H2 plus oxygen. That is the one of the example of this process. Okay, so you may consider another example for this purpose. So if you in exothermic, so here you may consider H2 and oxygen. So it will make hydrogen, sorry, water, that means H2O. And in endothermic, that means H2O, one particles, if we heat absorb, then make the oxygen and hydrogen gas. Okay, when the heat absorb. So this is all about the process of endothermic and exothermic. तो यहाँ पे हम लोग क्या consider कर सकते हैं? Just same things. This is your exothermic, and for the endothermic, just you consider here H2O, and if heat absorb, okay, reduction of heat, it will make the oxygen and hydrogen gas. Okay, so this one you may be known as the endothermic process. Okay. Next, just we try to discuss. So the exothermic reaction which produce heat, जो heat produce कर रहा है, that will be कन्वेंशन ध्यान में रखना है, ठीक है, ये कन्वेंशन ध्यान में रखना है, दैट मीन्स जो हीट प्रोड्यूस कर रहा है उसको हम लोग नेगेटिव कन्वेंशन ले रहे हैं, जो हीट एब्जॉर्ब कर रहा है उसको हम लोग पॉजिटिव ले रहे हैं, ठीक है, उसको हमेशा ध्यान में रखना है कन्वेंशन. So exothermic is a negative process, and since the heat is produce heat, but in endothermic just absorb the heat. So we have to take that one as the positive. Okay. Exothermic and endothermic reaction, just you may find out that means which one is your storage. That means this one. During the this is your storage. That means this one molecule and this one molecule, if you combined, then it will be known as the charge storage. Okay. So after the reaction, one molecule this one and one molecule this one. If after the reaction this will combine, so during the make this type of attraction of the molecule, okay, or atoms one another. Okay, so during the charging period, this will be take place, and charge will be stored, okay, in this form. And during the discharging period, that means this combined molecule break out in this form and just separate after the one molecule and another molecule. So this separation will be take place during the discharging period. Okay, when the chemical reaction is discharged, that means whatever the energy is stored one time, so will be discharged during the discharging. That energy will be released. Okay, तो जब energy release कर रहा है, that means two atoms separated. Okay, and जब absorb कर रहा है energy, then energy store जब कर रहा है तो दो and molecule other molecule are एक साथ आकर के attract हो रहे हैं. ठीक है. So same thing. This is the explanation for the exothermic and endothermic, or you maybe say that the one is charging and discharging process. Okay. Next, just we try to consider here. That means, yeah. So again, we just show here the combination of molecules, of water molecule, how we can make the two hydrogen atoms. So that means this one denote the for the hydrogen atoms, and this larger one is your for red indicator is your oxygen for oxygen. So H2O, that means during the exothermic, that means these three atoms are combined to each other and make the water molecule. Okay, that means H2O. Okay, so this is the exothermic when the overlapping between the atomic cell, that is two H2 hydrogen and oxygen. Okay, so this is the exothermic process. That means decreasing of the volume of the atoms from its natural volume. Okay, and make the oxygen. And still things reverse of during the endothermic. That means this water into break into the separate atoms. That means two hydrogen and oxygen. Okay, so this is the one of the best one of the example of the endothermic and exothermic. Okay, so endothermic में क्या रहा है, यहाँ पे हाइड्रोजन एंड ऑक्सीजन का टाइम्स अट्रैक्शन हो रहा है. ठीक है, दैट इज नोन एज द एक्सोथर्मिक. एंड जब एटम्स आर सेपरेट फ्रॉम ईच अदर, दैट ड्यूरिंग द endothermic process. Okay. So during the endothermic process, that means whatever the H2O molecule is separated in oxygen and two atoms of the hydrogen. So regains the atom natural volume. Okay, that means this one of this one. Okay. So this is the so water molecules and separated in again this separated form of the natural atoms, that means hydrogen and oxygen. Okay, so deattaching between the atom cell and separate. So electrolysis fusion during the endothermic reaction take place. And next is your photochemical energy storage. And last one, photochemical energy storage. Okay, so in photochemical energy storage system, the photo energy is converted into the chemical energy. So that the best example for this energy storage is photosynthesis. That means this is your carbon dioxide and H2O. So after the sunlight that made, that means C6H12O4, and this is the photosynthesis process between the water and carbon dioxide, make in the presence of presence of sun. Okay, and the sunlight, in the presence of sunlight. So this will be the photosynthesis take place, okay, and make the oxygen. So C6H12O4 plus O2. Okay. So this is the we find out photosynthesis explanation. That means the uh, yeah. So water takes place and there is sunlight on this tree. Take the uh, oxygen release and carbon dioxide will just synthesis process take place in the presence carbon dioxide and sorry, water and the carbon dioxide with the oxygen release. So this is the reaction for the and sugar and oxygen release. Okay. So when the water and carbon dioxide make the reaction in the presence of sunlight. Okay. In the presence of sunlight, they make the sugar and oxygen. So these two components release. When the uh, water and carbon dioxide take place reaction in the presence of light. Okay, so this is the one of the example of the photochemical reaction. Okay, photosynthesis process. This is photosynthesis process. That means the chemical reaction, photochemical. That means water and carbon dioxide and sunlight in the presence of sunlight. Okay, so that light present on this reaction between the water and carbon dioxide. Okay. So make the chemical reaction oxygen released and sugar. And that means C6H12O4. Just chemical formula for the sugar. Okay. So this is all about the electrochemical energy, photochemical, and okay. So this is all about of this chemical energy storage system. And so under this, we have already covered all these things. So just that means thermal reaction and photochemical cell. Okay. So just we stop here, and in the next class we will continue discuss another things. Okay. So
But can you provide the PDF of this?
okay, I will share this. Okay, whatever the PPT slide or okay.
Okay, sir.
So just we stop here, Priti. Okay.